Hey there, Michael Griffiths here, founder of Referral Marketing Guru, and welcome to this week's Get More Referrals Today podcast. Today, I want to talk to you about nurturing prospects, because in the end, I think most people in the way they nurture prospects is done from the wrong part of the brain. It's done from the red brain, the cortex brain, the logical brain. And trust me, it makes perfect sense what you're trying to do. It just doesn't land, and it takes so much longer to move a prospect to become a client because you miss what actually needs to happen. So that's what we're going to dive into today, to be able to speed up your prospect to client journey. So before we do that, if this is the first time you've joined us, welcome. So good to be able to have you. Every single week, we bring you how to be able to grow your business through referrals, through tapping into the limbic part of the brain that controls all human behavior, all emotions. It doesn't understand language. It's only feeling based. And when you can have the limbic advantage with our $1 million referral system, growing a business becomes so much easier than what it is right now. So hit that subscribe button, follow us on your favorite podcast platform, subscribe to YouTube and any of the socials, and we look forward to being able to help you be able to grow your business through referrals and through tapping in to that limbic advantage. So today, you've generated a lead. You've got somebody who's interested in what it is you do. They've got the pain point that you solve, and now it's like, great. How do I make them become my client? Well, the first thing you got to realize is you can't make them. There are things that you can do that help speed up the process. There's things that you can do that help them make that decision that you're the right person. But I think we've got to start there, because so many people have the wrong language. And when you use the wrong language, you're actually telling yourself the wrong things. And therefore, you do the wrong activities also. Hence, you shoot yourself in the foot. So let's actually look at the process. You have what I would call, let's call this attract. And the first bit of marketing is about how do I attract somebody who is the ideal sort of client I want to work with, who has the pain point that I solve into my world. That's the first thing that has to happen. So understanding that, it's not about, do I do Facebook ads or SEO or Google pay-per-click or go to referral groups or go to networking, or first thing you actually got to do is, how am I going to attract the right sorts of people into my world? And that's why we talk so much about not the channels, but how you actually going to attract them into your world. And that's your pipeline. That's your CRM. Okay, now you've got people in there. So that's a whole different side of where we want to go today. But now we've got people in your pipeline, in your CRM. Okay? And I don't really like when you go pipeline, you're treating them straight away as if they are a prospect that you need to make a sale. There's problem number one. Like, if that's how you think, you are not going to be able to do what I talk about right here. And that's about the fastest way to get somebody to be able to buy from you is to be able to get them to convince themselves that you will make their life better. And if you're focused on how do I sell to them, you're not focused on how will I make their life better. So straight away, you're going to do things that actually will slow down the process and not speed it up. So let's take a step back. You've now got somebody into your audience. I think that's such a better terminology. Okay, so audience is, in brackets, your pipeline, your CRM. But I think if you use the word audience, all of a sudden now, straight away, the connotation of who they are changes, because now they're a person. They're a person in your audience. Perfect, they're there. So let's look at what will actually make that person in your audience go, that's the exact solution that I need. I can see how you will make my life better. I can see how you will remove the pain point that I have right now. And that is what needs to happen for them to be able to go from a person in your audience to a client. Okay, I'm really big on this. You can't make them buy from you. They have to tell themselves a few things. They have to be able to go, I really like this person. I get along well with this person. I really trust this person. That's the first thing that they have to say to themselves. Now, they don't consciously sit there. Subconsciously, that's how they do it. And then they say to themselves, yeah, I really like that person. They don't know why. They can't know why, because it is a limbic brain function. The limbic brain doesn't understand words. It is only feeling based. So the first thing we've got to do, as I say to our guys, is we've got to make sure that we can resonate. They need to be able to resonate with us. That's what trust, that's what bond, that's what all those things are, where they go, you know what? I actually really like that person. I had someone the other week say to me when we just jumped on, and within like a minute of talking, they went, you know what? You seem like a really good guy. They can't know why, but the limbic brain has gone, this seems like your type of person. You resonate with them. And there's a reason why, because we had a commonality and we started just talking about that. So straight away, we're on the same page as each other. That's what creates a quick resonation with someone else. So they've got to be able to resonate with you. That's the trust. That's the bond. That's when they go, I really like this person. Then they've got to actually understand how you can help them. So that's the solution part. And that's not getting into the logistics and what it is you do and all the rest of it. That's just simply they need to understand how you can make their life better. Okay, what your solution is. So then the third part to that is that they need to see that you will make their life better. That you'll take them from wherever they are now, point A, to B. They need to be able to understand point A to point B, that gap that they've got right now. And as soon as they do, they go, great, let's do it. So rather than focusing on how do I turn a prospect into a client, and therefore most people do this. Most people go, how do I show them more of my stuff? How do I tell them how good I am? How do I put more things in front of them that for them to be able to read, for them to finally be able to realize that I'm a genius at what I do? See, all of those things are red brain, cortex brain type activities. Okay, they are what I would call the add value pathway. And sure, there's times to be able to add value by showing your stuff. But the majority of the time, you need to add value by deepening the relationship with them, by getting personal with them, by finding out more about them, by doing things that can actually get the bond and the trust deepened. Because when you do that, the other two things actually become easy. But if all you're ever going to do is simply go, oh, here's an article for you, or here's my latest blog, or here's my latest podcast, or here's my latest social post, or look how clever I am with whatever I wrote here, or look how great I am because I did this for Bob and you're like Bob, so you should jump on board. And if that's all you do, you're actually missing the point of what needs to happen. See, there's one thing that really needs to happen to turn a prospect into a client. And the people who go, oh, we've got long sales cycles. You've got long sales cycles because you don't understand this. The amount of oxytocin you create with another person is the direct correlation to how long it takes them to go from someone in your audience to becoming a client. That's it. We all have oxytocin. Anyone who you like, anyone that likes you, it's because you've got oxytocin with each other. That's the brain chemical. You might have heard oxytocin being referred to as the love chemical. If you've fallen in love with someone, so you haven't fallen in love with them. What's actually happened is you've created great oxytocin with one another. That is what is actually occurring. So when you think about it from that relationship point of view and you bring it into business, because what's business in essence? It's just simply human relationships. Isn't it human relationships with all of your clients? Isn't it human relationships with the people who are interested in what it is that you do? Isn't it human relationships with your strategic partners, with your networks, with the people who follow you on your socials, with the people who you might email out? It is all human relationships. And that's why the more human you can be, not relying on AI and technology, they've got their spot, but it's not in this. In this, the more you can create oxytocin with the people in your audience, the faster they will go, I don't know what it is, I just feel, limbic brain, that's what makes the decision, that you're the right solution for me. So if I took two people, okay, let's just take person A, and I'll be person B. Person A goes, I'm sending out, Fred's in our audience now. Let me send Fred this email about our solution. Or let me send this video about what it is that we do and how we do it. And it's all logical and it makes perfect sense and it's pretty and it looks great. And Fred looks at it and goes, oh yeah, that makes sense. So he understands the solution, but he doesn't have the first bit. He doesn't have that deep bond where he resonates with you to go, that person's just a good person. They're my person. They're my type of person. And he doesn't have that. So he can understand the solution. He goes, oh, yeah, that makes sense. And do absolutely nothing. And that's what actually happens the majority of the time. Where me as person B actually reaches out to Fred. So, hey, Fred, how's your weekend? I know that Fred's a great fan of pick whatever sporting team you want. Hey, Fred's a great fan of the Miami Heat NBA team. And they're in the playoffs right now. Oh, Fred, Miami nearly got over the line. Hopefully you get them next game. The difference between those two activities, sending Fred a video about your solution versus actually having fun with Fred about something he's passionate about, completely changes how fast your prospect becomes a client, how fast someone in your audience can tick the first box. The first box always is, do I resonate with that person? And when I say, do I resonate with that person, that means that they can trust you, that they bond with you, that they can actually say to themselves, I really like this person. And unless they do that, they're not going to buy your service. They're not going to become your client. See, the person who does that the best is at a huge advantage. Now, you're lucky that the majority of people are like person A, and they do everything in a logical, boring cortex way. So you have a huge advantage right now if you can change the way that you nurture. And we call it tactical nurturing within our $1 million referral system. When you combine that $1 million referral system with our limbic advantage, and we limbic the business from top to bottom, we focus on brain chemicals and we focus on making people feel a particular way, you've got this huge advantage in the way that you influence people for the right reasons in the right way. Now, that's a huge step that I'm asking you to take, because unfortunately for 95% of our day, we live in our cortex rational analytical brain. So I'm asking you to get out of that brain to get into this brain, and that's not the easiest thing to do. Hey, it's why people become part of Partnership Club, to be part of an environment which forces them to get out of that cortex brain and run their business through the limbic brain. And all of a sudden, people do what you want them to do. It's not, I get that it sounds like rocket science, but it's not for us that understand the neuroscience actually behind it. So here's what to do with your tactical nurturing. Ask yourself, how can I actually deepen the relationship with the people who are in my audience right now? That doesn't mean that you don't put up social posts. That doesn't mean that you don't send out a value email where you try to add value to them and you showcase something that's important to them. Like this podcast, go to our people as a value email. But it's not all I do. I'm trying to deepen the relationships with everyone who is around us, because I know that that's the most important factor in moving somebody from, oh, this is interesting, to you're going to be the person who can help me. So give that a go. As always, thanks for joining us. Make sure you subscribe every week. We want to bring you great opportunities to be able to grow your business using the $1 Million Referral System and the Limbic Advantage. Take care all.